So guys, now we will talking about the shoulder joint and the dislocation of the shoulder joint. So first of all we need to know its anatomy. So for seeing the anatomy, you can see here in the diagram that the stabilizers of the shoulder joint we need to know from the orthopedics point of view. So there are two types of stabilizer. One is the static stabilizers, the other are dynamic stabilizers. The static stabilizers basically include the capsule of the joint, the glenoid labrum, which is the fibrocartilaginous ring surrounding the joint, surrounding the glenoid basically, and then there are glenohumeral ligaments, which are upper, middle and the lower glenohumeral ligament. Then you have the dynamic shoulder stabilizers, which includes the muscles of the rotator cuff. The rotator cuff muscles are as follows. One is supraspinatus, then infraspinatus, then teres minor and then subscapularis. The supraspinatus, infraspinatus and teres minor, that is SIT, these are inserted on the greater tubercle, whereas the subscapularis is inserted on the lesser tubercle. So this becomes, the subscapularis tendon becomes the forgotten tendon of the rotator cuff. The other dynamic stabilizers include the deltoid tendon and the biceps tendon. The shoulder joint is the most mobile joint and it is the most unstable joint. All kinds of movement are possible here, that includes the flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, internal rotation, external rotation and circumduction. The head of the humerus is to glenoid ratio is of 3:1. That makes it the most unstable as well as the most mobile joint. So now to begin with the shoulder dislocation, this is the most common joint dislocation seen in the body. 50% of all the cases of joint dislocation are of shoulder dislocation. It is of three types: the anterior shoulder dislocation, posterior and the inferior. Now we talk about the anterior dislocation. It is the most common type. 80 to 90% of the time the shoulder dislocation is anterior only. It has got four subtypes: the preglenoid, the subcoracoid, the subclavicular and the intrathoracic. इसमें से subcoracoid is the most common. Okay. Now as we know that upper limb trauma basically includes only one mechanism, that is fall on outstretched hand. The presentation here is abduction plus the external rotation, and there is loss of the shoulder contour. That means the shoulder becomes flattened. तो जितनी जिम में एक्सरसाइज करके आपका शोल्डर का बढ़िया सा कॉन्टूर आता है, दैट इज ऑल मिस्ड, दैट इज ऑल लॉस्ट in this kind of injury. Then we come on to examination. In examination you do three tests. One is Hamilton's ruler test, the other is Dugas test and the third is Callaway's test. So in Hamilton's ruler test we place a ruler on the side of your hand, and if both the ends of the ruler touch your arm, then it is said to be positive, and if it is not touch, if both the ends of the ruler does not touch your arm, then it is said to be true. Then it is said to be that means the shoulder is absolutely normal, and if both the ends touch the arm, then there is something problem. Then the other tests are Dugas and Callaway's test, which you need to know, but that is not very important. The important is Hamilton's ruler test. There is injury of the axillary nerve. Now basically axillary nerve injury leads to motor loss of the deltoid and the teres minor muscle. Loss of the deltoid muscle leads to abduction and loss of teres minor leads to external rotation. Then there is a regimental badge area whose sensory supply is provided by the axillary nerve, and since there is injury to axillary nerve, there is loss of sensation in this regimental badge area, that is known as regimental badge sign. Then order of reduction in anterior shoulder dislocation is: first you need to do traction, followed by external rotation, then adduction and then medial rotation, so that mnemonic becomes TEAM. Now to stabilize the joint we use the Valpue bandage. The most common soft tissue injury here is the Bankhart's lesion. The other injury is a Hill-Sachs lesion. The Bankhart's lesion is a tear in the anterior-inferior part of the glenoid labrum, whereas Hill-Sachs lesion is a compression fracture on posterolateral aspect of the humeral head. The most common complication here is the recurrent dislocation. Coming on to the posterior dislocation, the mechanism of injury over here is epilepsy and the high voltage electric shock. You can also say it can be the fall on outstretched hand, but these are most specific for this type of dislocation. The attitude of the arm becomes the adduction plus the internal rotation, and this is the attitude while resting, and hence it is difficult to identify. The most specific feature which you can see here as well as on your screen is the X-ray में आपको light bulb sign मिलता है. Okay. Then in the inferior dislocation, which is still less common, you have it is also known as luxatia erecta. There is hyperabduction injury to the shoulder, like throwing a ball in a cricket match. The shoulder becomes hyperadducted. Then the attitude is arm by the side of the head, and it is the rarest type of the shoulder dislocation. Thank you guys for seeing this video, and please do like and subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you so much.